We are seeing a once-in-a-generation type of shift in gaming, and I think that means that we're at the dawn of the Xbox domination generation. You've heard me say that before. I think we're at the dawn of the golden age of gaming, and there's a few stories today that we're going to go over that I think illustrate that. Let's talk about it. Let's review it. First, we've got Xbox, some more news from Tokyo Game Show, Phil Spencer's Japan meetings. He met with a lot of people there. Let's discuss it. Let's discuss what that means for Xbox. We've got a Stalker 2 documentary, which I think is cool and an example of how I want to see more of these. There's already great commentaries or documentaries out there, but I want to see more on video game development. I think that only helps us. We then have the Xbox co-founder joining Amazon. And last but not least, HoloLens news, rather, not Halo. Every time I see HoloLens, I think Halo because, Halo, it's just one letter off. But HoloLens is being discontinued. What does that mean? Does that mean anything? Does that mean that PlayStation VR is going to take over? Does that mean anything for Xbox? What happens with the Xbox in that space, if anything at all? Let's talk about it because I think it all has some big implications for the future here of Xbox and gaming in general. Once again, I think we are in a generational shift in gaming. I think that's undeniable at this point. And I think some of these moves that are being made, including discontinuing the HoloLens, is representative of that. But before we jump into it, hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. My name is X1 the Gamer. We do videos like this all the time right here. We also have a Discord. If you want to come and join a fantastic community, amazing community over on Discord, then please do so. I'll pin it in the comments. Okay, let's jump into this story. Xbox boss Phil Spencer, this is PureXbox.com. We love those guys. Xbox boss Phil Spencer gets busy meeting loads of Japanese devs at TGS 2024. It was a busy old Tokyo Game Show for Xbox with the team delivering jam-packed showcase of new reveals from Japanese studios last week. I actually think it was infinitely, exponentially better than year one. I think what they did in their presentation at Tokyo Game Show this year just crushed it, nailed it, knocked it out of the park. I think that they show that they're serious. I think that they show that Xbox is a place for Japanese developers and Japanese games and Japanese style games for the future. Now, if you're not into that, now a lot of people aren't. There's a very specific gameplay style usually attached to Japanese games and Japanese developers. And if you're not into it, that's great. But Xbox does need to have a bigger foothold in Japan and in the Asian market as a whole. And I think year two here, we see them making a big presence at Tokyo Game Show, and I think they nailed their presentation. They showed that, hey, we're serious about this. There's over 1,300 games being developed by Asian studios that will be coming to Xbox. That's according to Sarah Bond. And I think it's only good, and I think it's only going to benefit Xbox long term. I also think that they have a secret card in their back pocket, and that secret card is Game Pass. And I think the way that the world is about to experience gaming is going to change for forever. And this is why I think we're at the beginning of the Xbox domination generation, including in Japan. I made this statement after the Tokyo Game Show. Do I think that Xbox could take the lead in Asia? And the answer is yes. And the only reason that I think, for instance, if we were attached to hardware and traditional console like we have for the last 20, 40, 50 years, I think no. I think that you're talking about a 50-year plan that you have to have in order to do that. But in the digital age, with Game Pass and with cloud gaming and streaming, I think you can do that in a matter of years, just a few years. I think in less than 10 years, you could really make some market share gains in Japan, if not dominate them, because when digital goes fast, it goes really fast. And it's exponential growth because all you gotta do is download it. All you gotta do is download it to your device. Everybody has a device. Just download it. Versus having to get the supply lines, having to get everything built, having to appeal style-wise to hardware and stuff like that. Now you just need the games and you've got digital and everybody can subscribe. And I think that actually speaks to how Japanese gamers consume their games. I mean, internet cafes are still a huge deal there. So I do think we're at the beginning of that, and I think that's the secret weapon in Xbox's back pocket in a place like Japan and in Asia overall. Posting out to Instagram threads, Phil has been sharing loads of updates over the past few days covering his time at the convention. The boss met with teams from Capcom, Koei Tecmo, Konami, Square Enix, and more before heading back to the U.S. earlier this week. Here are some of his posts. Great visit today. Really had a great visit with the teams at Sega and Atlas while in Japan. Remember, Sega was being rumored to be acquired by Xbox, I could see maybe that happening in the future. I mean, a lot of Sega games, a lot of Atlas games have come to Game Pass. This seems to be a very close relationship already. In fact, I would say out of all of the publishers we've talked about so far, Japanese publishers, those two have been some of the closest, some of the most presented over on Game Pass and on Xbox over the past few years. So that's huge, I think. Also, check out his shirt. Yes, Metaphor. Ooh. By all accounts, early access to that game has been out, and looks like it's one to play. Nice to see teams at Bandai Namco here in Tokyo. Great to talk about their future plans, launches, and collaboration opportunities. See, this is the groundwork that you have to do. This is the groundwork that takes time. This isn't instant. It's not overnight. It does take time, and it does seem like it has improved once again exponentially from last year Xbox's presence at Tokyo Game Show to this year's. That's the kind of hard groundwork, improvements year over year, month over month, week over week that you have to do. And I think Xbox is doing a fantastic job, at least according to what they're showing us or what we're seeing. Always good to see teams at Capcom while here in Tokyo and discuss the industry, their games, and opportunities together. That is Monster Hunter Wilds. I have a friend who does Monster Hunter. He has a Monster Hunter channel. Light It Up Dan is his name. Make sure you go check it out. But Capcom is absolutely huge. I think that's a fantastic relationship to develop as well. Good opportunities, good discussion, with Konami on the future of their gaming plans and opportunities. Great day getting the Square Enix and Xbox teams together to talk about our future plans. This one's a big one. I genuinely think we're going to see some big moves from Square Enix and Xbox, some big partnerships here in the future, and it's very exciting. Not to mention, we haven't even mentioned Hideo Kojima's game that is being made as well, that is coming to Xbox, that Xbox is supporting. That's absolutely huge. But overall, I just think that this is just a good signal. I think it's a good market signal. I think it shows that Xbox is all in on gaming, that Xbox is all in on developing the relationships to ensure that Japanese games have a place on Xbox. And I think it's big. And I think this is part of that generational shift that I talked about here at the beginning of this video. Xbox is going to be a huge place, a huge force in the Asian gaming market space. Again, I think Game Pass is a huge part of that. Let's jump to our next story here. This is the Stalker 2 documentary. Now, we're going all the way across the world. We're going all the way across the world to a studio in Ukraine. And GSC Game World and Xbox launch War Game, the making of Stalker 2 documentary. It's a feature-long film over on YouTube. You can go watch it right now. I have not yet seen it, but I love these things. I loved the Xbox documentary that they did on the beginnings of Xbox and where we're at today. I thought that was fantastically done. Oh, here it is right here. They mention it. Power on the story of Xbox. I'm very excited about this. Here is a quote from it. This film isn't just about the hardest game development of all time. It's about resilience and the underlying human spirit in the face of unimaginable challenges. It's about the importance of creation in a time of destruction, a defiant act of making something meaningful in the face of adversity. I can't speak. So for those of you that don't know, GSC Game World is located in Ukraine. Ukraine obviously is in the middle of a war with Russia, and so they're going to focus or address what it's like creating a game during these difficult times. And I think it's going to be interesting just seeing any documentary during this time period, the last 2 years, 2 to 4 years, because it's insane. It's just been an insane worldwide market. There's so much uncertainty out there, and so I'm very interested in this. I love these kind of documentaries. Go check it out. I think it only helps. Stalker 2. I've never played the Stalker series. Everybody tells me that I would love Stalker and that I would love Stalker 2. So very much looking forward to it. Very excited to watch this. Let's go to Xbox co-founder Jay Allard has joined Amazon to work on new ideas. Now, I see a lot of people on Twitter saying, Amazon is creating a console. No. Just because he helped create the Xbox doesn't mean he's there to create a console. It does mean that he's there to help create new devices, though. That's his cup of tea. He has created Xbox Zune and the Courier tablet, or rather it was just a prototype, I guess, for Xbox. I do think, though, Phil Spencer said this, that they don't view PlayStation as their main competitor. And I think that's because they're looking in the future. And in the future, Amazon is going to be a powerhouse in gaming. I think, and in the device market overall, I think Apple obviously is going to be a competitor. I think Google is going to be a competitor, especially with cloud gaming. I mean, you just go onto YouTube right now. YouTube has playables. I think Discord, ready for this? I think Discord could be a powerhouse in the gaming space. They have in-app games that are coming. Remember, when we're talking gaming, we're also talking about mobile gaming. Mobile gaming is huge, guys. Mobile gaming makes a ton of money. And so I think this is interesting. I think this is interesting to note because this does kind of show how things are shifting in the gaming industry, or not just in the gaming industry, but in the industry overall. And I do think this does underscore that Amazon is slowly but surely coming up here in not just the content space, but in the hardware space as well. Now, not that Jay Allard is going to work on any sort of hardware related to gaming necessarily, but I do think it does underscore they're a player. They're a major player in the tech space overall, but definitely in the gaming space. I mean, what's the Amazon game that the MMO Thrones of Liberty? It dropped yesterday on Xbox. Like that's huge. So last but not least, let's talk about HoloLens 2. HoloLens 2 cancellation paves the way for Meta and Xbox VR headset, and I'm excited. I actually don't think Xbox is going to jump into a VR headset. We don't need to go through this article. Basically, HoloLens is canceled except for their military contracts. HoloLens, if you remember, they showed it off. It was always just a prototype. It was a theory. It was future tripping. It was what could this be in the future? And it was this AR, VR combination, very like what Apple has done with their headset, as well as Oculus. Now you can like switch in between AR and VR. HoloLens was kind of the first example or first demo of that. And one of the coolest things that they did, you could go look up the video over on YouTube, is when they talked about it on stage, they showed your Minecraft world coming up out of the table. And then you could play Minecraft and experience your world in this kind of 3D AR way. Now, I do think that there is something there with that. I think that could enhance gaming in a huge way. I think, for instance, the Apple headset, I think one of the top ways that it's being used now is to have a giant screen, a giant television in front of you that you can game on, you can experience sports on, you can watch movies on, etc. It makes this immersive experience. I think VR is an immersive experience unlike anything that exists out there. I think, though, that because it removes you from your surroundings, I think it's going to be an experience that you go to a building to play. I don't think it's ever going to, at least not anytime soon, going to be a thing that everybody has in mass in your house, for instance, and that's going to be the main way that we game. And I could be wrong. Anything could change. But I think you can see that, and it's why Google's headset, Facebook's headset, Oculus, they went to also including AR, because I think AR is much more interesting in day-to-day home use versus VR. I think VR is an experience that you go to somewhere to experience something wild, right, and insane. And I think that's where that is built. So I don't think that Xbox is going to have a VR headset. I think they could support VR headsets if they so want to, and that has kind of been their strategy up until this point. I actually think Meta's glasses, Facebook's glasses that were just shown off, is a huge step in that direction. I don't think they're going to be full headsets AR in the future. I think it's going to be glasses that you wear, something very non-obtrusive, something that doesn't look foolish and dumb, but just looks like normal glasses that you wear, and there's data and images, and you can even see screens. There's glasses like that out there right now. In fact, a couple companies have approached me on this channel about trying out their glasses that allow you to game and project a screen in front of you and game that way. I think that's much more the future. I do not think that Xbox needs to jump into VR. I don't think they will. I think they're focused on cloud gaming and stuff like that. So, and I would rather have them continue to focus on cloud gaming and their Game Pass suite and improving it over time, getting on more devices. I think that they're focused on a handheld device. I think handheld is going to have a bigger effect than VR in the future as well, and it has a bigger market share than VR. But that's just my thoughts. I could be completely wrong. Let me know what you think. Do you think Xbox should be in the VR business? Do you think that they're not going to be in the VR business? Do you agree with me? Disagree? Let me know in the comments below. Again, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to this channel. My name is X1 the Gamer. We do videos like this all the time. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.